Okay, well, we're once again having the exact same problems. Okay. I mean, I guess I'll run another speed test while it's happening so that I can at least... You know, it's like that thing in the movie business where they have the clapper when the take starts to show that it's... My internet is allegedly fine. Holy fuck. It's Alaren, it's not the Wi-Fi you're on because I can see it in my, like, my OBS is telling me that the connection is unstable, and it's currently telling me that I'm dropping like 60% of my frames. So so the people that are still here in chat, please tell me if it is visible or not. Because on my end it says not visible. I will defer to all of you if it is visible enough to watch, but on my end OBS is telling me this is unstable, actively shitting its pants. 60% of your images are not going through. Currently good, currently visible. It's an improvement. All right. Since this reboot of the stream, it's clean. Okay, then we're gonna start going and at least get through what we can, and if we need to reschedule some people, we will reschedule some people, but we will at least do what we can today. So, for those of you who have not been a part of this before, the way this works is my patrons have sent in deck lists, and they have sent in the following additional information. They have sent in a deck power level. The only power leveling we accept is Silly, Spooky, Scary, developed by Danny Phantom EXE. It is a measure of how ominous each of your setup turns are. Silly turns are not ominous at all. Spooky turns are ominous to those who know anything about magic. Scary turns are ominous to everybody. 1 through 10 is bullshit, don't forget that. They also send in a primer, a description of what their deck does or what they intend for their deck to be. This is a lot of what I am roasting their deck against. It is whether or not they fall short of what they are telling me it is, or if they are telling me they want to do something that is bad and wrong. They also say if they want improvements or not, and then they tell me what the deck is in one word. Rise of Horus, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome back to the dog home, my friend. Stream's dead, never mind, it's on. Lag spike, but seems... Why are we opening over here? That's not your fucking... That's not your goddamn tab. Well, Sam, thank you for coming to the live stream. So we're going to start with Leilu's Scary deck. I've been playing Magic for almost 20 years now, and remember when EDH was a cool new thing that was just starting to catch on. The first commander deck I built was a mono-black Ashling the Extinguisher... Ashling the Extinguisher deck focused on getting her to hit people and force them to sacrifice creatures. Over the years, it has evolved substantially, and the commander has changed. When Commander Legends came out, I loved Tevesh Szat, Doom of Fools, as a commander for the deck and started focusing it more on that forced sacrifice angle. Despite Szat having partner, I ran him as a solo commander for years, only recently allowing him to fill out adoption paperwork. There's the Pride Month roast. That's an asexual commander. For the rest, there's a primer on Moxfield. Thanks. Let's see what it do. Szat and his son. Szat had felt lonely since taking over commander duties from Ashling. There was a space in his deck list for a partner, but none felt like an equal. He realized what he needed wasn't a partner, but a precious son, a loyal son who could support him without fucking up his man base. You did Tevish Rog? Okay, so bargain bin C EDH is where we're starting. This is my mean deck focused on killing everything and gaining advantage off it. It has redundancy for key effects, plus several of my favorite and or fanciest cards. It's flexible, consistent, and often plays through substantial hate because nobody likes letting it pop off. When Szat hits the field, he helps a lot, but he's often not needed. I made this as mean as I possibly can because our table is fun more than it is cutthroat. Or I haven't made this as mean as I possibly can because our table is fun more than it is cutthroat, and I don't like infinites. If you see one in here, it's accidental, and I'll take it out. That's why despite owning 4 copies of Sanguine Bond and Exquisite Blood, I run neither in the deck. This is also my swag deck I've put a lot of effort into making fancy. Everything is accurate to the printings I own, and almost all of them were pulled, traded, or bought at local shops. The ones I haven't are secret layers. I didn't realize how much the deck is worth until I put it in Moxfield. Turns out the most expensive card is apparently my foil Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth from Planar Chaos. The main plan is an unyielding sacrifice engine with lots of good meat grinders and plenty of meat to grind. The second plan is generating so much mana the green players cry and go home. Stuff like Black Market, Ashnod's Altar, Pitiless Plunderer help both at once. Victory is typically through attrition and drain from the sack engine, mass reanimation, or dumping 42 plus mana into something like Exsanguinate or Torment of Hailfire. Absolutely disgusting. So for those of you who don't know Rograk, this is I'm allowed to cast free commander spells for 0 mana, which you don't have. The whole point of Rograk. The whole point is for this card to be free. That is the only reason you put Rograk. For this card to be free. That dude looks goofy. But we do have all Sheoldreds. And fucking Turgid. Okay, so Rograk is 0 mana zero mana just the first time, but the reason Rograk is super good is that if you have spells that allow you to cast them without paying their mana cost, they are effectively 0 mana because you can drop him. The whole point is for him to go get smokes for his father. Why are these not the smokes? Why do we have fucking every version of Sheoldred and none of the actual smokes? Vampire Hexmage? Oh, we have Dark Depths in here just because. Okay. All the mana. Cage Sun, Crypt Gas, Dark Ritual, Gauntlet of Power, Keurig, Liliana of the Dark Realms. The fact that this is under mana is, it's honestly, the idea that you're going to ult this commander is honestly horrifying. At least, I mean, they're getting you swamped, so I'm gonna, there's no way this is about the ultimate. Nirkana Revenant is crazy. 6 mana, my Swamp Tap double. Gisa the Hellraiser. Endrick Sar, It That Betrays. That is hilarious to be under body generators. Raunchy Potato, I'd look at Brawl decks too. That art is raw as hell. $1,300. 34 lands, very reasonable. Let me look at this curve. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Rise of the Dark Realms. Yeah, Rise of the Dreadmarn isn't bad. People will board wipe at least once a game. Saw in half. Okay, yeah. True Scriptures will make you bodies. Whispering One will very technically make you bodies. Mostly for swag. Board wipe, Merit Lage, Demonic Tutor. Very good black card. Very good black card. Swag. Fuck you. I would say Thoughtseize. I would say Thoughtseize is the only thing I will accept is mostly for swag, because that's the only one where it's like, yeah, in Commander, that's pretty inefficient to go down a card to take one card from one person when you're playing against 3 people. The rest of these is just like, that's black and fucking mean. Yeah, endgame, we have a shitload of X spells. Doomsday, old favorites, Cabal Cop, yeah. Childhood Standby, Cabal Coffers, and Crypt Ghast. Then Dark Ritual, Dismember. Yeah, Dismember's an old favorite. Exsanguinate, Grave God, Grave Pact is fucking rough. Necropotence. This to me makes me feel like your table is not playing Commander. They are making dioramas for each other, because like, so a very important concept in the game of Magic and not in this deck is the idea of tempo. If anybody has seen Amazonian's video on it or looked into the data that got leaked from Magic Arena's like Brawl matchmaking, one of the most overarching things is how can your deck force a game to end faster than it wants, or force a game to go much later than it wants. And so things that are rated like very, very high by Wizards themselves are cards that significantly speed up or significantly slow down the game, like are disruptive. And this deck is just like, it is the meanest deck in the world if you don't look at it for 5 turns in a row. Because let's see. Oh wow, look at that. We have a handful of relatively unplayable things. Well, we'll play a swamp and our commander. And then we'll just hang out, you guys. We'll just fucking hang out. Okay, now we can tutor. I don't know what we'll tutor for. Probably Necropotence. I can't imagine there's a less effective card in the deck than Necropotence. Or actually, probably Caged Sun. You know what? Because we have the lands in hand to get there. So turn 5, add 5, 6, Caged Sun, sick. Land, what do we... So tap, make 5, make Tevish. Make Wormcoil, fuck this guy. Draw 3. Fuck a swamp. And then at this point, yeah, we're off to the races. Seven turns in, and one demonic tutor for a Cage Sun later. We're off to the races. Now we have Dark Depths in our first hand. We have Dark Ritual. Taking the ice. Oh, and we have Demonic Tutor in our first hand. So why not? Boom, 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 boom. I don't know what the fuck we tutor for, but I think the tutors are holding this deck together by strings. I don't even think Cabal Cough. I mean, yeah, Necropotent, sure. Oh, we would have played this guy. And then we hang out. Turn 4, Necropotence comes down. I mean, I think we do 1, 2, 3, and we put those in hand, and we go down 3 life, because we don't have a fucking out off of Necropotence. We just have Necropotence in here because the art's hard. And then, like, you just kind of hang out. Like, so, okay, so here's why. I think this deck is scary in the same way that anybody's Minecraft creative mode character is scary. Everything this deck does is horrifying after turn 6. I believe that there's probably, like, there's in every deck there should be, and so in this deck there probably is a nut draw where this really starts going off super, super early. 80% of what I have scrolled past in this deck is like a win more 4+ mana spell, which is honestly almost silly. Then Lulu, tell me the things to tutor for. I'm tutoring for what is just like obviously card advantage or mana advantage because it's not my deck. So like the reason this is live stream is so that you can try to defend it or argue what the tutor target should be. But honestly, even if like there is a thing to tutor for, that's the same thing of like if the deck's first 5 turns are being held together by Vampiric Tutor, that is still some Minecraft creative mode shit. Cause this hand, right, we got no tutor. And now we hang out and we discard to hand size. Okay, and now we got to 3 mana, so we can victimize. Which theoretically we could bring Mirkwood Bats back. Maybe we dump. This isn't even the best shield. This isn't even the Shieldred we want, which sucks. God, victimizing Gary would hurt. I think we do this, and then next turn, now, we victimize Rograk to get these guys out so that we have something going on with our mana. Yeah, you build to come online around turn 5 or 6, and that makes sense in my head. I'm like, but from the perspective of what is roastable about this deck is that it's less of a deck and more of a PowerPoint presentation. Like this is a coming online turn 5+, and it typically looks like coming online turn 5+ because vampiric tutor or demonic tutor, which is on a pretty big delay. Oh, good. But coming online because you got one of your tutors, and then the way you come online being, I'm going to double my mana, is very much like, I believe you that you got there. Yes, it turns out 5 mana cards, very good. Like 4 to 5 mana is where cards in Commander and in the game of Magic the Gathering start being really fucking good. And so if your table allows you to make roughly half your deck really good high mana cards, then yeah, this is fucking disgusting for maybe everybody but the token player. The only, which that's honestly a point against you, the only person that could survive this absolute onslaught of fuck you, sacrifice one of your own things is somebody who's playing tokens, because they're not getting stolen from with Turgid, they're not getting stolen from with It That Betrays, from Rise of the Dark Realms, etc, etc, etc. Or the table just like does not believe, the table firmly does not believe in interacting with each other. I'm gonna give it one more chance. Okay, 3 lands. This is like as nice as you could hope. I'm even gonna say we'll drop this when somebody opts. And so we will get an Orc Army token that immediately goes to 2/2. And we had Rogrok out turn 1 because we're not stupid. Now we can play Kervek. He doesn't really have anything to do. We again have like we're just hanging out. Or I guess we'll dump the life for Keurig, because why not? Let's play Magic the Gathering. And then turn 5 we do this. Pay life both times to Thoughtseize. Who cares what we Thoughtseize? We're just putting shit on Keurig. We'd probably throw it up. And now we have Cage Sun. And then, we draw 3. Okay, and now we have Necropotence. And if, like, Necropotence and Cage Sun can't figure it out, I mean, this is a deck we have seen before, which is, look at all this cool shit I own, which is nice. It's cool to see, like, that's part of the joy of Commander, is seeing what cards people think are very cool, what themes people think are very cool, and you are a green player in a Stranger Things villain oversuit, and that is an okay thing to be. It is certainly not a scary deck. It is certainly I guess I would say like spooky. I would say at best this could consider to be spooky, but you are doing like, this deck is a movie. This deck is a TV show. You are playing for your opponents, and if they never get up and change the channel when you eventually climb out of the TV like that bitch from Grudge, yes, you will do it to them, and they deserve it. In terms of doing improvements, there is no improvement suggestible to a deck that is Behold My Stuff, because a deck that is Behold My Stuff is entirely based on your personal vibes and the shit you like. And so there is no way to improve on that, other than you sometimes seeing cards that you really, really like. In terms of making it a stronger deck, or dare I say it, a more consistent deck, which you may not need, because based on the playtesting I've seen, your table does offer infinite mulligans, which most tables do, and is nothing to be ashamed of. But if you wanted to get the deck to a place where it did not need infinite mulligans, you would probably take some of these very, very win more cards, like a lot of these honestly, like Obliterator, because you have so many sources of sacrifice. Like, who is blocking or swinging into Phyrexian Obliterator in 2024? Like, you can keep everything that's under mostly for swag, because that is the most behold my stuff. I don't think Mirari is really useful. I don't think Mirkwood Bats is nearly as useful as all of your death effects. Come on, you guys. What the fuck is happening? Yeah, everyone, I think the delay is pretty bad because of whatever was going on with the with my internet. That may be how OBS is like smoothing it out. You do have a lot of tokens to bring stuff back. Wasteland Raider is also kind of on the weekend for the stuff that your deck wants to do, but overall it is not possible to improve something that is a PowerPoint presentation on what you believe to be cool. And so if you do want to make the deck more consistent, it is almost certainly going to be from stuff in this 4 to 5 mana range getting cut for the stuff in the 1 to 3 mana range. Whether that is additional tutors, like Gamble, whether it is mana rocks, whether it is cards in red that are good, which there has to be at least one, you know, that would do it. But right now you have like, so 12, 17, 19, 21, 22. You have like 22 cards that are trying to either win the game or tee you up for it, and you don't need that many. You need like 10, and then you need the rest of the deck to help get you to those 10. And so that's how you would make the deck more consistent or more aggressive. But if your table's already low power and you're just playing the deck as behold my stuff, congratulations, you have a perfect deck. It is a PowerPoint presentation in my view, but those work at the right tables. And if that's how you're playing Commander, God bless you, carry on. We're going to move on to Tetrarunes, which is spooky. You have heard of the Sierra Madre Casino. We all have the legend, the curses, some foolishness about it lying in the middle of a city of dead, a city of ghosts beneath a blood-red cloud, a bright shining monument reaching out, luring treasure hunters to their doom, an illusion, a promise that you can change your fortunes, begin again. Finding it, though, that's not the hard part. It's letting go. I've been the first to get knocked out of a game purely because of how much treasure I was making, things were starting to build up in my favor, and one word, the deck is dice. I don't know what that quote is from, but Mardu, Jesus, okay. Oh, it's from Fallout. What am I talking about? Yes, I do. Okay, so we have Mardu, which means we want to roll dice, which means we do want to, yeah, we want to have Unfinity. Token cheating. Make... This deck makes tokens, therefore I take big dragons that also make tokens. Ha ha! I have won at Magic. Alaren, please do pick one. If you throw a bunch at me, we have so like right now we're still finishing the May roasts. We have 70 individuals signed up for deck roasting right now, and so if you send a bunch of individual decks at me, there's just a ton of it, you know, everything we do to increase the complexity of the chain increases the probability that I will fuck it up. So even if you pick one at random, please just pick one and send it off. Thank you for coming by the stream. Okay. D20. Oh wait, no, D20s. They roll dice. What am I talking about? You're good. I'm sleepy. I'm messing up. These dragons make sense. Okay, whenever you we have an actual out. Whenever you roll dice, deal damage. Chaos dragons make sense. Herald of Hadar makes sense. That is aspirational for 5 mana. Hoarding Ogre, yeah, good one. Jan Jansen, yeah. It's meant to be spooky. It's meant to be dice. Whenever artifact ETBs, yeah. Yeah, will make sense. Dance, yes, a fucking Dance with Calamity Enjoyer. Delete is awesome. This is the, this is fucking, this is a card I have not seen before. Okay, big score, Chaos Warp, Contraband Livestock, Critical Hit, Lae'zel's Acrobatics. What the fuck is Lightning Helix doing in here? Laylo, I'm glad you enjoyed the roast. Thank you. Path to Exile. So far we have almost like every card is on theme, and then oh fuck, I need good removal, I need good interaction, oh fuck, oh shit, but also I need Lightning Helix. This is the most confusing card of the deck. Bobbleheads make sense, we're on theme. Fucking hate Clock of Omens, fucking hate. Whenever an ability is activated, you can copy it. How many of those do we have? So we have it's good for Jan Jansen. It's good for Herald. Oh, well, Mr. House. Yeah. More dice, yeah. What am I talking about? Oh, we're getting buffering issues again? Oh, God. I do love that they did that. There's like an actual Fallout theme here instead of just die rolling theme, because the bobbleheads is certainly not good cards. But I love them myself, and I'm glad that you love them too. We have a lot of artifacts, and probably not enough artifact synergy. Well, never mind. There it is. We have Unwinding Clock. Who gives a fuck? Oh god, Anointed Procession. Rick, the deck is running Unfinity cards, which if your table does not let you run... If the table does not let you run Unfinity cards for Mr. House, they are lame as fuck. Do not bother with them. I think Smothering Tithe is worthless here. I think Smothering Tithe is... this is one of the cards that's getting you shot in the chest because it is just... Holy heck, that's a good card. That's a good card for a white deck to have. Pyromancer's Swath is... Okay, now do we have functional internet? That would be so... That would be very sick and cool. It'd be very cool if OBS just wanted to work correctly this one time. Are we are we back in real time? Have we escaped whatever fucking time vortex I was being held in by my OBS software? Because OBS says this shit is good finally. Kirakoto, we're on the current timeline. Okay, we're back. Yeah, we're on YouTube and Twitch right now, and it looks like we finally have functional internet. Yeah. Laughing Jasper Flint, Rick Dom, don't be crazy. So this, all right. So I'm going to assume that we've lost like a third of this deck roast to time just because of whatever was pushing the lag further and further back. So we're going to summarize it really, really quickly, which is this deck is somebody that desperately wanted to play Yahtzee instead of playing Magic the Gathering, and they have been forced at gunpoint against their will to play Magic the Gathering with their Yahtzee deck, and to account for that have put in good interaction like Path to Exile, Deflecting Swat, and Chaos Warp, and I guess Lightning Helix on top of like 30 cards that roll dice. I do think it's very good for it to stay on theme with rolling dice. The only thing I think is perhaps contemptible about this deck is this deck is not... This deck like wants to be the bad guy, but is not willing to actually be the bad guy. And so it's almost verging on silly to me, because the only cards in the deck that I feel like actually pull it together are Brass Dragon and Gold Dragon. You talked a big game about getting murdered because you were making treasures, but Component Pouch can win you the game just with Mr. House existing. Please stop playing Commander at your local preschool. Because everything else is going at sorcery speed, and I've played against one of these decks, and this deck basically sits there and screams, "Please board wipe me, please God, I hate being alive, please, oh please sirs, use your Vandal Blasts and send me back to the fucking Stone Age." I do love that you have Dance with Calamity. I think that you have a more than critical mass of dice, and I think you need more ways to convert to actually turning the dice into blood. Reckless Fireweaver's good. I think you have Nadir's Nightblade, which is also good, but if you don't have them, boy howdy should you have Nadir's Nightblade. You definitely need to have Google Dice Roller ready to go. If you plop out individual D20s for all of these turns, yeah, I am gonna get you. But there was one artifact creature I saw that was very good for this. Artifact creatures afflict. Cyberman Patrol. Cyberman Patrol would be very, very good for this deck because then it makes effectively your 3/3s are always unblocked, except sometimes they just fucking die. That would probably, I mean, cut Lightning Helix yesterday and put in this shit. Let's look at Vihan Goldwalker. Oh, Gold Waker. Yeah, Vihan would be fucking dope in here. Like, I think what the deck is hugely thematic, which I love, but it is also a kind of Rube Goldberg machine of I am just here to roll dice, and I may accidentally win because I have Fireweaver out while I'm rolling dice. And I may accidentally win because I roll so many dice that I can overrun with 3/3 colorless robot creatures. But 3/3s are not a particularly compelling overrun strat when you are gated by having to do a different game action like roll dice. This isn't Celesia. We aren't being spoon-fed 81 ones just because we breathed and told our mommy that we were a good boy. Like, you actually have to attack. You have to spend mana. You have to tap your creatures. Like, you got to do stuff to roll these dice. And so making a 3/3 because I actually did stuff you're working way too goddamn hard. And I don't think you need to cut necessarily die rolling cards. You are at the high end of lands that you need. So I would just get some cards that help you convert your hard work into actually beating people to death. Whether that is something that makes your artifact creatures better, whether it's something like Vihan, whether it is something like Cybermen Patrol, I think that would help a lot. Let's see if there's just anything in here. Brotherhood Vertibird would be very thematic, or it would be very Fallout thematic. It would be a big flyer that can potentially just get over your opponents, and you have 25 non-token artifacts on top of a artifact token generating commander. So that would be good. Fathom Fleet Swordjack would not be as thematic to the flavor of Fallout, but holy fuck would that be strong. Karn Legacy Reforged is another. See, I don't know about this one because it would poop mana, and the other thing that this deck is lacking in is this deck does not look to me like it can draw cards. Like, like, let's all of us together look through the ways this deck has to draw cards. 1, 2, 3, because you can make clues. That's 2.5. Clue tokens 2.5. We'll call that 3 because that is also super half of a card draw card. Four. 5 mana to do it. Five and a half. Yeah, we have 5.5. We have 5.5 ways to draw cards in this deck. So if we do things to improve it, you do not. If you do things to improve the engine does not need to be improved in the context of making more money. If anything, this deck is getting, like, it sounds like from the primer, this deck is getting bullied because it's so breaded and does not have anything to spend that bread on. Why would I be typing in YouTube chat, Vital Farms, dude? Any deck with treasures can run Master Face Puncher, but I don't think you need to. Like, again, I don't think... Or by Master Face Puncher, I'm assuming you're referring to Facebreaker. And I don't think this deck needs more treasures. Like, this deck does not actually have treasure payoffs because we don't have Vihan in here yet. What the deck probably can't do is if the deck ever has a bad hand, the deck cannot draw more cards. And that's what it needs. So I would look for a way to draw some cards, and then I would look for ways to translate all the artifacts you make, into actual damage rather than just having artifacts on board. Oh, Facebreaker is advantage. Yeah, you know what? Okay, I'd listen to Facebreaker for the impulse draw. Yeah, Delita and everybody else asking, it is a Patreon redeem to submit these decks. What is my opinion on a rat deck? Funny gimmick one time. I don't know. I've played against a bunch, and they're just like... It's hard to make them interesting, because rat decks are just... Do you have a board wipe on turn 5? No? Okay, I win. Yes? Okay, I stop playing Magic now. Yeah, so Facebreaker could be another, like, half of a way to be drawing cards. The Fallout... Oh, yeah, you could do junk tokens. You could do... Is that, like, Rosie? No, it's not that Rosie. Rose Cutthroat Raider. What's up, No Legs? I kind of fuck with Rose Cutthroat Raider for this deck. Vaderbot, they already have Unexpected Windfall, and they already have Big Score. Deadly Dispute would be really good. Deadly Dispute, you can just sack your treasures. So I would take the Deadly Dispute. There's another version of this from LCI that makes... like map tokens instead of treasures. So I would get more things like that. Just because you like you so badly. I understand the desire to... Oh, Sentinel Sarah Lyon. Oh my god, yes, here it is. Like, this was probably... And the thing was, this was probably in the pre-con, and they probably cut it for something that rolled dice. I always advocate for staying on theme. You do need, like, you need some dedicated plans to win the game. Oh, this wasn't in the pre-con. It's not in the fucking... What the fuck? Put Sarah Lyons in yesterday. Probably for Honestly, Clock of Omens in this deck is just a fucking huge win more card. Fuck Clock of Omens. All my homies hate Clock of Omens. Keep the bobbleheads because they're thematic as fuck. But Clock of Omens is just here as like, I'm already winning. I'm going to do a lot more of it. Sarah Lyons is here of, I'm already winning. This is going to actually translate to me killing people. And you need to you are in early stage capitalism. This deck is in its industrial revolution. You need to get to late stage capitalism where you are just murdering people. And then you'll be set. We're going to move on to Genio's deck, which is silly. Drawing cards or casting 1-drop cantrips make me a Locust token or mills people. Blue creature tokens mill people or deal damage. Sacrificing Locusts to add mana or mill people, then using mana to cast cantrips or draw cards to do the same thing all over again. The deck in one word, this is really part of the primer, is it mill with jank-ass combos originally designed as an alters to the Locust God deck? My friends said I couldn't mill without black, so I attempted to prove them wrong. Are your friends stupid? Excuse me? Who? 33. Alright. I don't know. I'm not convinced you can mill with 33 lands and a 6-mana commander on under $200. What a hill you have to climb. But who the fuck in the history of this game looked at the blue player and was like, nah, you can't mill? Why the fuck is Archive Trap in here? Aether Spouts. Okay, so we have... Boy howdy do we have some trauma responses in this deck. Archive Trap can only be in here because you've been stormed off on. Didn't say please. This is God's most honest mill deck if we are milling with didn't say please. Whispering Wizard, make tokens. Yeah, make tokens. Okay, Sage's Row Denizen gets us to mill 2. Whenever someone attacks you. I don't think this is someone building their first Magic deck. I think this is someone who, like... This is someone who built their Magic deck with Locust God EDH rec and then just pure off the dome mill shenanigans. Yeah, Docent of Perfection. So we're making a ton of tokens. Does he have the second half of the Bruvac one-shot? I hope not. It doesn't. It looks like they're not. It looks like they're not a loser bitch. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good start. Well, their table, their friends saying they couldn't mill without black. It sounds like this table is very new. Also, most of what I'm seeing from these cards is like, haha, I'm gonna do a funny mill deck. Oh fuck, I accidentally killed you all with Perforos again. Like, this is... You can mill in here. I am hard pressed to imagine that the mill synergy is actually what wins games when you have Locust God, Dika, Docent, Expressionist, Perforos, Talrand go wide. Like... We have no tags. Let's see how it actually runs. Or I guess we have Altar of Dementia. So if you get Altar, you can actually win with mill. So turn 2 Altar. Turn 3 Psychic Corrosion. This? Oh, this is assuredly, this is another PowerPoint presentation table. What I would not give to exist in a table where I could do fucking land non-creature value piece pass for 5 turns and still have any of my teeth. So we do this, we probably immediately do this. Oh, we drew 2. So I would discard, I mean, Barry and the books can get the fuck out of here. So now we have Locust God on curve. Okay, Brainstorm. So we have 3. We have 3 of our little insectoids. I'm putting that back. I'm putting that back. Doing Ashnods. We're sacking 1 to Ashnods. Tapping out for these 2. We're sacking another to Ashnods to get Altar of the Brood. Okay, so now they've milled 1. They've milled 1. And now we hold our dick in our hand. I think the best thing we can do... Tap 2 in this, draw a card, make 1, fuck that land. Swing, cast this, make 1, nope. Make 1 of these. Then draw 5. So that's going to put us back in the game. Every opponent mills 10. Turn 10. We're getting them. Let's try one more. Okay, but we got Fraying Sanity. So we're going to Temple of Epiphany. We'll scry. God, I mean, I cut it, but also, yeah, you need to draw it here. Soul Ring. And then... I'm honestly going to ramp. We can discard an island. We have a free counter spell that is discard an island and another. This deck was made by a pilgrim. And then we have fucking Shark Typhoon, which I guess, because we're about to start playing creatures or non-creatures. So turn 4, because we got 2 mana rocks, we're going to get to our commander. We'll draw a card, we'll make our first insect. I doubt anybody has 7 or more cards in their graveyard. So we will Fraying Sanity. Make a shark for Fraying Sanity. We Brewvac, and then if they don't board wipe us, they're fucked. Right? So we Thought Scour somebody. So we drew for turn, so we'd make 1. We draw for Thought Scour, so we make 1. We make a shark. And okay, and then Sphinx's Tutelage is going to... So now whenever we draw a card, they're fucked. We don't have the colors necessary to draw a card. So we pass to our next turn, and if nobody fucking gets us by our next turn, we draw a card. One person will mill 4. And if they... I don't think all 4 will be non-land cards that share a color unless it's monocolor. So if there's a Krenko player, they're fucked. With my 4 synergy pieces combined, you just fucking die. I mean, so I think this deck was silly, right? This deck self-reported as silly. Okay, it is silly. This is certainly silly. It honestly has a more reasonable curve than most of the people we've seen today. Everything you have in here that is put something on the top or bottom is unforgivably bad. It is so bad, and it may just be funny enough with I put it on top and then I mill it. Average mana value is 2 with lands, 3 without. So it's playable, right? They're not... Most of the stuff in their deck is cantrippy enough that they can do it. But, like, the thing is... the backup plan for this deck is just so aggressively better. The fact that this is supposed to be like jank ass combos, like you cannot present to me this is my jank Locust God deck, also I have Perforos God of the Forge, because that is every card draw is 2 to everybody. This is my silly little Perforos deck, or this is my silly little Locust God deck that's going to storm off with Bergie and fucking kill you. Like, maybe it does work because you do need a backup plan. I think when you tell people this is a mill deck, you are gaslighting them. You tell me this is a mill deck, I don't fucking believe you. I think this is a deck that can purport to be a mill deck when it draws like perfect mill synergies straight off the top, and I think in every other situation it is not a mill deck. How about adding Niv Mizzet? Yeah, let's just make it even less. Let's just make it even less of a mill deck. Luxanu, thank you very much for that suggestion. What if we make it mill even less and pew pew even harder? God, this is goofy. I mean, the thing that needs to change is absolutely like 90% of your interaction that I've been drawing is I'm gonna put this spell on top to then mill it after, which is funny and is also making this deck just like straight up stop working every single playtest we've done. Like everything that prevents you from actually playing Magic the Gathering is you get Like, you get a board set up that should be a, if you don't fare well, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna fucking kill you. And then we're just sitting on run out of town. Or we're sitting on sudden setback. I think sometimes you need to sacrifice a bit of flavor for actual good interaction, LMAO. I don't think you need to sacrifice it just for good interaction, but I think there is, like, you want a deck to be flavorful and functional. And, like, foil... Oh, here, like, foil is not flavorful or functional. This deck does not care about discarding its own lands. It might care about counterspelling, but, like, foil does not have a single justification in the whole world. Frantic Search is just in here as, this is a good card. I guess it will, like, make you, it'll make you bug, so I'll say that's a synergy. Deliberate is weird to me because you would rather... I think you would rather have... so versus all of these, like, Surveil and Scry cards, you gotta break that fear that's in your heart of discarding cards, because you got some bad fucking cards. You need Thrill of Possibility yesterday. Like, you need to... Sudden Setback is funny. You need to be able to get rid of Sudden Setback because you do not have a thing to Sudden Setback. I can also understand if you don't, like, want to have the money for wheels, but, like, Windfall is exactly what you want and is still relatively on budget for what this deck is doing versus some of your more expensive things like Memory Erosion. But everything that says spend mana, everything that spends more than 1 mana to draw a card should instead be a card that says discard 1 or more cards, draw more than 1 card, because that is what you want to do in every situation. Locust God wants you to draw more than 1 card. There was, I think, another thing that was like when I draw a card, people mill. And so, like, curate and deliberate, coward behavior. That is the behavior of someone who thinks all their cards are good and does not want to say goodbye to any of them. And very few of your cards are good, my friend. And that is a badge of honor because you have done it for a theme deck. But you got to be willing to discard some of these because they're just frankly not... 9 times out of 10, they're not it. What the fuck is Weatherlight Complicated doing here? Oh, you're gonna sacrifice. Sure. Sure, you're gonna sacrifice. You get it. Yes, Zaytane, there is, and I think they have it. Yeah, it's Psychic Corrosion. Wear Kozleg? You don't need Kozleg. You're not milling yourself out. But yeah, you have a lot of meme cards, and meme cards need to... Or, let me frame it this way. You have a lot of meme cards that are only situationally useful to you. A lot of these are very narrow. Like Barry in the books, incredibly narrow in the situation in which it helps you. And I know that you are holding out for the Magical Christmas Land of I get to put that on top of their deck and then mill it on my turn. And if you want to have shit like that, you need to have more shit like this so that you can decide maybe this isn't the fucking moment. Maybe this isn't the moment. Benji, they... what's up, my goat? This deck is self-reported as silly, and they're trying to do mill, but also Perforos, which I'm... Like, this to me looks like a bunch of priests No, I'm not gonna make another joke about the Catholic Church touching little boys, but this deck to me looks like if the Aztecs thought their rituals were about something that wasn't human sacrifice, and then they just, but like by some series of events, they just kept accidentally doing human sacrifice. That's what this deck looks like, with Perforos and Talrand killing everybody with Overrun to me. It looks like you're telling people, I'm playing a jank-ass mill deck. Look at my funny mill deck. And then half the time you go, oh, look, Symmetry Matrix. Oh, look, Perforos. Actually, I'm going to deal 20 damage to face. And then win. And everyone's going to be like, where the fuck was the mill? And they were like, oh, well, Altar of the Brood was in the bottom half of the deck. But yeah, you have like 10 slots committed to meme interaction, and that is a lot when you are already allegedly focusing the deck on a meme build. It's probably just infinite with mana echoes, but who gives a fuck? Most, like, nowadays in Commander, it's kind of hard to not have a 4-card infinite. Kanga404, thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. I appreciate your generosity. We're going to move on to Yummy Socks, who submitted a silly and spooky deck, the Intrusive Thoughts 1, featuring the greatest Chaos Commander to ever grace Magic. I humbly present Discord Chaos Theft. The deck wants to cast a bunch of spells from exile, most of which happens by stealing your opponent's toys or through Discord's abilities. The spells are cheap, with only a few big scary cards that either commit theft to an unreasonable scale or cast from exile to an unreasonable degree. The game plan is to get Discord out as soon as possible so that we can establish our mystery Mousecatool production early and start spamming the random button on Scryfall. The deck has a solid amount of ramp to facilitate this in ways of copying what was cast by Discord to increase the value of our surprise tools. The win condition of the deck will be provided at a later date as soon as Discord or one of his goons finds one in the pile of exiled cards. Real as hell. I love this commander. Kanga, it's the $25 tier. Thank you very much. Douthy Voidwalker. Decadent Dragon, so a little bit of theft. So we want to put stuff into exile and be able to cast it. Hellkite Tyrant seems crazy unless we're making a lot of artifacts. You have 9 in the deck, so you're not making a lot of artifacts. Humble Defector is also insane. We know this isn't budget because you're spending $500 on Discord shenanigans, but also Group Hug. Okay, Araxa makes sense. Kellogg makes a little bit of sense. We have our crypto-fascist commune leader. That makes sense. Now, Feshni, Plarg, and Nasari, good. We have a little bit more of this group hug going on. Rakdos the Muscle I'm not convinced on. This seems like... Oh, that's an older version of the list. Then hit me with a new... then send in a new link as quick as you please. Otherwise, we're going to get it going. Rise of the Dark Realms seems highly optimistic in a deck where you intend to steal other people's things through exile. Heartless Conscription is good. Creative technique is interesting to me because you're doing a meme strategy and demonstrating, which if you're not demonstrating this card, you're playing it wrong, but demonstrating against other decks that probably have a better strategy is usually a losing proposition. Guthrie writes history, outrageous robbery, wild ricochet. I'm not convinced you have enough. Maybe you just don't have the colors for it, but there's at minimum where the fuck my guy at? Where the fuck my guy at? Okay, turn 1. Boom, get opulenced. I like this deck already. Boom, fucking gamble for a soul ring. And then we have 7. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Blast Act goes away. We soul ring. We discord. Okay, so now Scryfall random. We got Blood Celebrant. Holy fuck, we're so back. So now we have a Blood Celebrant on the field. So turn 4, we would tap our swamp to play the Blood Celebrant. And then we would get another random card. We have Krenko Mob Boss, which we can cast. Fuck yeah, who do we get next? Underworld Breach, which is useless to us right now. So we're probably not going to cast Breach. We would pass. What do we get next? God's Gate. I think it's only spells. It's a non-land card. Wall of Shield. 0/4 with banding. So land. Jessica's Will. Fuck it. Play the wall. What do we get next? Rise from the Grave. Shitty Reanimate. Hell yeah. This is hilarious. So I already love this. I think you have... This is... When I reviewed this commander, this was... bar for bar the type of thing I was envisioning with using this commander, so thank you very much for bringing it to life. My big criticism of this deck is I think you believe that you have way more exile synergies than you actually have. You have, if we go through, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, Yeah, you're on 4. You have 4 cards. You have 4 cards in this whole deck that actually care that you have cast something from exile. So you have gotten lost in the sauce of being like, oh, my commander is exiling. Of course I have exile synergies. And that is a lie. What's the wording on one of these? So there's from anywhere other than your hand, and then from cast from exile. So those are the 2 we need to care about. Now, Rakdos may just not have enough. You may just honestly not be working with enough sauce. We have Prosper. Dynamo, Prosper is, like, the commander is not Prosper. What I'm saying, like, we have Prosper, tone him down. I'm saying 4 cards. We have a ton of shit in this deck that is trying to cast something from exile, ostensibly because the deck benefits from you casting for exile. But when we look at the things that actually have a listed benefit for you casting from exile, there's 4 cards. One of them is Prosper, but we have no guarantee that we're going to see Prosper on your average game because this person is only running Gamble as their tutors because they're real and based. And so what I'm saying is we need as many things as possible to make sure that we're actually going to get a benefit from these exile synergies, rather than just like we have we have like Rakdos the Muscle, which we have Exile Theft, and it may just be enough that we have Exile Theft. Yeah, there's really not... It's really not great. You could do Unstable Amulets coming out with Modern Horizons 3, and this is casting a spell from other than your hand, and this would contribute... This is like an actual, I'm going to advance the game state. I think this is pretty good. Conrad, Laughing Jasper Flint is the opposite of what we're talking about. Laughing Jasper Flint would be good for this deck because it's Exile Theft, but it's the same thing as it's casting from exile. We're not getting a big benefit other than when we get creatures. And we would like a very big benefit. So I think this whole list, except for Poxwalkers because they fucking suck, but Keeper of Secrets and Memory Worm should probably come in, since we're actually working with 5 because I forgot about Passionate Archaeologist. But I would bring Tyrannosaurus, Keeper of Secrets, Memory Worm all in there. They are all meaningful sources of damage, and you have to be very careful with a deck like this because the number one thing that will make a table like turn off of it and start to really hate on you for playing it is when it gets into the lead and gets into the driver's seat but can't do anything to actually bring a win together. And cards that just fucking deal damage, great ways to get back into the driver's seat. Lelia would be good. Lelia would certainly be good. We're just doing a quick look on... Oh, Brain Stealer Dragon! This is the GOAT! You gotta get this motherfucker up in here, because whenever a non-land permanent an opponent owns ETBs under your control, they lose life. This is another... It's very expensive, so you may need to cut a like top end thing to fit it in, because we have a lot of expensive shit already. But this is another, like, you are stealing from exile. It is making all of your other, like, it is retroactively justifying things like Ensnared by the Mana, because it makes all your exile theft, it makes Heartless Conscription an actual, like, game winner. So I would get that up in there. They have Elderbrain already. I know I saw Elderbrain. Yeah, Bahamut. Prosper's in the deck. I personally like Cunning Rhetoric. It's in my Prosper deck. I don't think it's a must run, because you have a lot of good stuff already. I think you can cut Rise of the Dark Realms, TBH, because you want to steal straight from the deck more than you want to steal from the graveyard. Wilfred Goldenrod, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the Doghouse. Kami of Celebration is probably... This is probably too expensive for not enough of a benefit. But if you want to, like, really double down on exile payoffs, like, if you make all those other moves I've suggested and you're like, man, I still am, like, exiling just to exile and I don't have enough targeted payoffs, this could do it, but it's 5 mana. It's fucking very expensive. Lelia, I'm not sold on Lelia because we're not exiling from our library. We're exiling from a lot of places that are not our library, and we're only exiling from our library a few times. Rick, we're halfway through because the first hour of the stream basically got eaten to technical difficulties, and so we've only just gotten like sort of into the swing of things. Yeah, so I would keep looking through that stuff on Scryfall. You've got a number of very good suggestions here. I love what you're doing. You did get super lost in the sauce of I'm gonna exile stuff just to feel something, and take a couple of them and tighten it back in on I'm going to exile stuff to get a damage payoff, to get a creature bigger, to make somebody lose life. Like, I'm gonna do this stuff for an actual payoff that isn't just haha I exiled something. And then I think the deck will both feel better for you, and I think it will feel better for your friends, because sometimes decks like this can feel like you aren't actually playing Magic the Gathering, you're just fucking with people, and that will make this deck feel like you're fucking with people and playing Magic the Gathering. We are going to move on to Jordan Smith's spooky deck, Mutually Assured Destruction in Action. Don't touch my things or I will sacrifice my commander to nuke the board. Don't get too far ahead or I will sacrifice my commander and blow up the board. Don't kill my commander or I will let him die and nuke the board. Also, who needs basic lands? Just limit ramp, and once you play your commander, nobody targets you, so you can build on curve. Who the fuck is this commander? Oh, God. Oh, God. Behold, nobody's stuff. Welcome to the Nevusi. Or the Nevenusi. Alright, so win ETB. Make zombies. So it looks like we are going for, we're going to power up our zombies. Zombies have flying. Protection. Hilarious to put this under ramp. It's not, like, totally inaccurate. But, Jesus. This is like... Having this be your list of ramp is like sending a billionaire to a grocery store and telling them to get food for the week, and they come back with like a Chanel bag and high-end truffle oil and then like organic chives. That this is the ramp that you have brought to us. Okay, so Aetherios to poop your commander back into existence. Brought back. Yeah, you need a ton of ways to cheat your commander back into play, because otherwise you're just boned. I feel like Gisa and Geralf are kind of jokesters. Well, I guess actually most of your like big winner cards are all zombies, so that makes sense. Ratatouille's here. Primals I think is a little bit silly, but you do have a lot of legends, so maybe it works out sometimes. A Scarab God is it? Well, no, you have a lot of zombies. Scarab God makes sense. Protection. This is... Avacyn's Memorial is a lot. Avacyn Angel of Hope is a lot. Cauldron Haze is honestly pretty good. Eldrazi Monument is pretty fucked up, depending on if you have recursion in hand or not. Phyrexian Reclamation is going to get bombed by your commander. This looks absolutely awful. God, if you ever resolve Gift of Immortality with your goddamn commander. Not that after all, Selfless Spirit, Champion of the Parish. Just in case the Grand Commander plan doesn't work, we've got Champion of the Parish slowly becoming a 30-30. Yeah, that seems really good. Oh my god, and then beautiful zombie list followed by Chat GPT does my interaction for me. I hired the EDA Trek AI to pick the 11 most annoying Esper spells, and then I just threw them all in my list. I'm almost with this. I think it depends on if they're doing it to... It depends on if they're not drawing cards as an act of charity, or if they just think that they're them and don't need the card draw, because I guarantee that you need the fucking card draw. You do not... This deck does not need Mycosynth Lattice to nuke lands. I do not think it presents a compelling enough win condition to do a land nuke. Yeah, 6 card draw is okay. Will Health is honestly one of the... Like, Will Health and Black Market, because they're repeatable, is really, really good. You do not need Rhystic Study and... Not every... Listen, we don't need to put the best cards in every single deck. Sometimes we can achieve a goddamn theme. Like, if there was ever a deck that wanted to run every version of, like, Deadly Dispute, Village Rites, whatever, it's this one. And so I think there's some things where... Oh, he's hexproof from them. Okay. It may not be worth then. Well, I guess if there's like... It could be worth if you have one good thing that isn't Navineral that you wanted to... Oh, it's hexproof, not Shroud. Yeah. Never mind. So you can. What's this curve look like? Almost a responsible curve. We only have 13 zombies. I mean, you have command zone zombies, so who really cares? Let's see what it feels like in the actual playtester. No mulligans. We are not bitches. This is now a triome. We're gonna go to our next turn. This is a dual land. We're gonna hold our dick in our hands. Let's be generous and say we mana drained a 2-drop. So now we have 4 mana to work with. We would 100% want black market connections. We would make a treasure and draw a card probably. Then the turn after that, we'll just make a treasure. Ratadrabic will... We don't have anything we can sack here unless we make the Changeling, which we might, and then sack it just to draw a card. And then make a 2/2 zombie with Decayed, and then we kind of go up from here, and we get to Navineral. So we would probably play Navineral, hope the board is big, and then do Navineral, sacrifice him to Flare to make all of our other shit indestructible, kill everything, make a bunch of zombies, swing out with Ratadrabric, get a token copy of Navineral. Yeah, the flare in here is pretty hot. Like, some of the sacrifice stuff in here is very, very cool. So that was probably the best playtest we've had in here. Is the Azorius dude who dies and makes zombies. No, I saw somebody else made a deck for this. Win dies zombie. Tobias. This is each creature you controlled, which I'm honestly not convinced on this because that playtest did not look like it was trying to sacrifice its own stuff too much. This playtest looked like it very much wanted to cheat by protecting its own stuff. Tobias is also really expensive to flash in here and is also non-token. Yeah, they already have Avacyn, and they already have Avacyn's Memorial. I mean, this definitely, like... This deck, every person who ever plays Magic the Gathering needs to play against this deck at least once to learn that you never negotiate with terrorists. Because I can fully see why this strategy works against the playgroup of don't do anything to me or I'm going to nuke your board. But the Esper player, like, either the board is getting nuked on your terms or the board is getting nuked on their terms, and they're going to do it with a ton of 2/2 zombies. So you are, like, if you play this, you're certainly the villain. I think based on all of the arts, they understand that, though. And tables need a villain. Tables need somebody to teach them that you cannot negotiate with everybody. Because the longer you let this deck cook, the better it ends up. Pitiless Plunderer is insane not to include, because they built on theme. They did, except for the removal, which it's very hard to make removal on theme, so that part I kind of get. But they did it because all of their shit is a direct synergy with I'm going to kill my commander, bring him back, or protect my zombies. And Pitiless Plunderer is for the most part just, boy howdy, creatures are dying. Isn't that cool? Oh, bone shards would be fucking funny. They don't really need it, because if they're sacrificing their commander, they're blowing it up anyway. But it is funny if there's a planeswalker you need to get. Oh, right, yeah, this commander hits artifacts anyway. So Pitiless is not only off theme, but it also non-bows. Unless you float the mana instantly. Compelling Deterrence is not it. I don't think Reassembling Skeleton is it. I don't know what its use is other than another thing that does what our commander is trying to do. Oh wait, Plunderer does work, right, because Navineral's trigger resolves before Plunderer sees all the deaths. Do they run Jisa and Geralf? Let's figure it out. They do, yeah. We saw this in there. They have Nasty End and Reckoner's Bargain. Pitiless Carnage. I would like Pitiless Carnage as a card draw spell. Particularly if you ever got into a situation where you had zombies that you couldn't swing. What's up, Thomas? How's it going? Is Varnia in there? Do you mean Varina? I don't know how I feel about Varina, because it feels like Varina, you have to hold her in hand until after you have successfully done the Navineral thing. A Planeswalker would make sense. As much as I hate them, if you wanted to do thematic things, at least one Liliana. It's only the Lilianas care about it. Liliana the Last Hope is very bad, but from 10 miles out is a pretty funny potential overrun method. Oh, Dreadhorde General would be insane. Dreadhorde General would be pretty insane. I don't know what you... I mean, you probably cut Cleaver Scab because you never have a reason to use this, or of your ways to sack your commander, it's one of your worst ways. And I don't think your other zombie, like doubling another zombie, is as good as having Liliana. I don't think we want Kalitas because Kalitas is gonna fucking die to Navineral's thing. Like we can't run. There can be no creatures, artifacts, or enchantments that do not have indestructible. Because those will also die in the holy conquest of the Urborg Tyrant, busting all over everybody. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I'm stupid. Yeah, you do need Scab because the other half of this, I thought it was all wrapped up in a death effect, but it's tied up in an ETB, and so getting the 2 double ETBs would be very helpful. Then I would say probably Headless Rider. It's one of the weakest token makers you have. Necromancer's Covenant is also a very expensive card that mostly reads zombies you control have lifelink. I refuse to believe, unless you have a self-mill player at the table, that there is ever an important enough number of creature cards in someone else's graveyard. My camera's lagging. No, Rick, I think you're just crazy, bro. I think you sound hysterical. We can talk about this after, when you've calmed down a little bit. Tombstone Stairwell. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But Jordan, I do like the deck. I think you have done, except for Smothering Tithe, a very good job of picking things that do have clear and important synergies with your commander. I honestly think Smothering Tithe could be cut for Liliana. It might mess with your curve a little bit, but Smothering Tithe does not give a fuck about any of the things you're doing and also dies to your commander, whereas Liliana is going to give you card draw, is protected from the things you're doing, and also loves zombies. Trying to look up the card you're talking. I cannot find the card you're talking about, DM Lake. There's enough token generation to keep Eldrazi Monument up once you get it out. I do not think there is. I have not, or let me put it to you this way. Eldrazi Monument is a card that is potentially dead in hand because it is only worth playing when you already have Navineral out and you have a way to bring him back to get the zombies. I think it is one of your more cuttable cards that probably feels very, very good when it does go off, but it is highly situational for it to go off in the way you want it to. You need both your commander and then you need one of your 12 recursion cards, which is not impossible to get there. Do not do this either. I would still rather see Dreadhorde General over any of those. Oh yeah, Nevi blows up Eldrazi Monument anyway. So even more so, this is like the Nevi combo has to have gone off, and then you lay this down. And at that point, you've already blown everything up, and so it's like Death Baron, like these anthems are just better than to follow up with than something that's going to make you kill your creatures one by one, because this is banking on your opponents having enough shit that Navineral is going to make you a meaningful army. But we're going to move on to Sliver's spooky deck. Which is 2 cards away from 1099 levels of fucking you. Interesting. Pray I don't alter the deal any further. It's like 4 cards away from being stuck under an anvil levels of tax. Don't give me a reason to add something to the considering section, because I will do it. 38 lands, which is reasonable. So is this just... So Teferi Time Raveler for no reason other than to be a douche. You're gaining life. Sure. Horrible card. Alright, you have a card draw synergy. So horrible card made playable by your commander, which that's the spirit of the format. Gotcha. This one I don't get. That one I don't get. So 1 card, do not understand. Burnished Heart is... Sure, it's very slow, but that's fine. Not all decks need to be fast. That makes sense. The fact that we're running Burnished Heart and Esper Sentinel in the same deck is causing a little bit of a rift in my gray matter. That's 2 cards that I'm not with. This one I highly disagree with. Grand Arbiter, sure. Okay, why, bro? You know, okay, you have the card draw synergy, sure. Three, this is fool behavior. This is just mean and hurtful. Somebody cut you deep, and now you're cutting them deep back. What the fuck is this guy? Are you just down bad for the Azoria Sphinxes? Because this is Ward 2. This is a 4/3 flyer with Ward 2. Sig is great. Talion is obviously great. Council of 4 is obviously great. Veto is obviously great. Bribery. We are just bouncing all over the fucking place in terms of how strong this deck is. Inquisition of Kozilek is smoking crack. This is like... This is the most targeted bullying we have seen in like the last 3 weeks of deck reviews, because this is such a bad card. The only legitimate target for Inquisition of Kozilek is a Tutor or Soul Ring, and you're already running Soul Ring, so you do not have the right to take away other people's. This is a Minecraft creative mode card. Sure, a board wipe every once in a while makes sense. I believe this commander gets targeted enough for that to be reasonable. Smoking a little bit of crack, but alright. This is like... they started to see how high the budget was getting, and they were like, "Ooh, maybe I don't include an actually good piece of removal." And then we have all the good removal. Thought Scour is smoking crack. What is this even here for? So, oh, sorry, I forgot to turn tags on. I forgot to look for the tags of the never mind. The 1-2 punch that is condemn into Thought Scour instead of just doing a 2-mana exile. We can put an attacking creature on the top and then Thought Scour them instead of playing Path to Exile, because we are so obviously against staples, except for Swords to Plowshares, Teferi Protection, Mana Leak, Generous Gift, Frantic Search, Dovin's Veto, Counterspell, Phyrexian Arena, Sensei's Divining Top, Soul Ring, One Ring, Esper Sentinel, Palpatine, Talion, Veto, Teferi. Yeah, except for that quarter of the deck. Oh, it's bottom? It's not even a combo! That makes Condemn way better and Thought Scour way worse. What the fuck is Thought Scour doing here? They really like, this is 80% EDH rec, 20% the hateful voices. They're definitely not milling themselves out. 3 cards away from being a tax form fucking you. It's not, though. There's not a lot of taxes. Like, based on that primer, I thought this was like a pretty rough Stax deck. I don't think they have the ramp. I don't think they have the ramp to ramp out Jenga taxes quickly, but I don't think they need to, because the rest of their deck has a semi-reasonable curve, or at least more reasonable than we've seen for most other people. And then they have 5 cards that are like Hail Marys. The game has gone on forever. This person put Grand Arbiter in the deck and was there like, boom, I have created a super strong Stax list. Kneel before me, peasants. So draw, go up 1. And now we have a bunch of shit that can't draw a card. Or really, Lord of the Void and Drogskull Reaver are the two cards we really didn't want to see right now. So we'll play top. We will look at... God, all of our fucking things are... So we'll draw to get a land. Put this back. I'm gonna Mirror Maid the fucking Signet. Now we have 7, so now we can do this. And then we swing. And then we top, and then I'm gonna Psychosis Crawler with 5, spend the last mana to look at top again. All of these are not cards that we super want, but we'll draw a card to make Psychosis Crawler, punch hard, grow our Chasm Skulker. Oh, we wouldn't get Simulacrum, we would get the top back. And then, like, we Jenga Taxis, and then we fucking... Like, between these two cards, if nobody has removal, we win. But this is, like... Somebody hurt them with an Esper deck, and this person wanted to reclaim their suffering, and then the EDH-Rec brainworms got to them. Like, Body of Knowledge is definitely a little bit of a meme. Baleful Strix is just like... It's a blocker. It is a blocker, sure. And it replaces itself with draw a card. I would personally much rather look at more cards, because this deck needs to get through its cards quickly. I would rather have something that was like repeatable looting, or was, even if it was just a one-time cantrip, if it was like Moment of Truth that lets you look at 3 things instead of just 2 things, or because, like, Esper is not sweating one death-touching blocker. I don't think this list is particularly control-y, though. Like, I think that Junk Troller is a joke and a half. Drogskull Reaver and Quasar do go infinite, and I think more often than not, Drogskull and Quasar go infinite with you losing the game. Because, or if your opponents have more life than you have cards, Quasar and Drogskull goes infinite with you dying. And if you have more cards than your opponents collectively have life, Drogskull wins you the game on the spot. Which is within the bounds of Spooky, to be honest. It's not something I would personally play, but it's definitely within the bounds of Spooky. Factor Fiction is probably too much additional. These are probably too expensive. Greed would probably be pretty good for this deck, though. Treacherous Greed would be really good if you had anything dealing damage, but I don't think you do have that. I mean, I feel like yeah, I think you definitely do. You do want Vohar. Because we do not have... We have a lot of, like, narrow-ass cards that we need to be able to cycle away when we don't need them. Oh, they do have fucking Rhystic Study. I mean, this is just, like... Where's that new... This deck is, like, it's 80% the EDH-Rec list for Quasar Augur of Agonies, and then it's like every Esper card that ever made this player make this face. Like, it's the Foul Strike deck, because it's They saw Revival and Revenge, and they went, huh? And they just put it in the deck for no reason. They saw, I mean, Treasure Cruise probably makes sense. I don't really think it does because you don't have enough looting, but after you get Voha in here, like, they got hit with Inquisition of Kozilek one time, and they were like, you can make me discard? And they did the fucking Wile E. Coyote eyes. Bribery's funny. I love stealing. I love taking things. Same goes for Ill-Gotten Inheritance. What the fuck is going on with this card? Like, perfect world. We are using Mirror Maid, and we are going up to 2 damage per upkeep. It doesn't have any wheels, and should have wheels. It should at least have, like, this guy runs the 1s and 2s on this whole deck. Like, when you talk about this deck is 4 cards away from killing you with tax paperwork, they have to be dying from accidental paper cuts sorting the papers, because the taxation on this deck is truly, truly not that high. Like, you do not have a lot of things holding people down other than you have a responsible amount of removal, but you also don't have the card draw to reliably remove things all the time. Fate Unraveler is just smoking absolute crack. Like, this card was printed just for Nekusar, but you're not... If anybody at your table is really breaking under the 1 additional damage a turn they take from Fate Unraveler, like, that is some intramural YMCA League commander. Oh yeah, Magic Mirror could be very good for you. You only have 20 instants and sorceries, so I would suggest cutting some of the worst creatures you have, which the worst creatures you have are Fate Unraveler, Junk Troller, Burnished Heart, right now Body of Knowledge, but definitely Balustrade Spy. And then I would say Baleful Strix. Another good one is, as Ikari is suggesting, is Teferi's Puzzle Box. It will hurt you a little bit in your mind because you'll be getting a new hand every turn. And... Right, and then we actually start to get somewhere. Venser's Journal, this is also coward behavior. This is just life gain, which is not taxation, it's not evil, it's you being afraid of dying, and you cannot afford to be afraid of dying. You need to get busy living. I also think that Magic Mirror is a better version of Treasure Cruise because they both synergize off the graveyard, but Magic Mirror is on average going to draw you way more cards than Treasure Cruise will. Revival and Revenge and Inquisition of Kozilek are both, somebody played these against you once in like Standard and you thought they were really good, and so you put them in and they gotta go right the fuck out. And then Thought Scour. You got to cut Thought Scour yesterday. We do need to keep it moving along, so we are going to go to Bahamut. their deck, which is silly and scary, which is a very hard line to walk. I'm interested to see how you walk it. This deck is a cardboard machine gun. The main game plan is to have Bellor in play so that when you play Garuda, you deal damage to a player with Bellor first. Each player will then mill cards for Garuda. The hope is that you mill a clone in your cards. That is optimistic. So you can have it copy Garuda, let it die, then do the damage and mill over and over again until either the entire table is dead or your friends no longer file a restraining order on you, whichever comes first. My play group plays more high-powered, so the price tag is warranted, but the deck is light on removal and interaction since it needs to be tightly packed with clones. Plus, Bellor can point at any target, so if needed, he can be creature removal as well. The deck is mainly just a meme, but it works really well, and since it gets good reactions out of my LGS, I'm excited to see yours. Feel free to skim through the Mox Primer if you want a more in-depth look at the deck and its game plan. So my understanding of this deck is I'm trying to take a meme, which is Bellor Garuda non-deterministic mill kill, and I'm going to try to make that meme good enough to play high-powered. I googled the primer. And if that is the case, I do believe that this can be both silly and scary. The Divine Comedy. Resolve Bellor, Windmill Slam Garuda, Profit. So whenever demon ETBs deal damage equal to power... So it is a companion. Put a creature onto the battlefield. You do get 6 damage per shot. I'm assuming we have tags because we need. So the goal is every 4 cards we hit a clone. Mind cranking my hog. All right, you've won me over. You have instantly won me over with mind cranking my hog. Board wipes. Frankly, coward shit. Terror Tide is a very smart board wipe. I don't like Rakdos the Showstopper as a... I mean, it's a hit off Garuda, so I guess is like a thing to work with. You know, maybe you don't hit a clone, but you do hit that. But there's already a thought forming in my mind. Extinction Event... You can protect yourself. Your whole deck's even. This is not enough card. No, ain't no goddamn way you put cycling 3 in card advantage. Hold! I'm going to talk to your mother. I am going to call your mother. You told me cycling 3 is card advantage for my deck. Okay, clones. 21. That's pretty good. Okay, so Molten Echoes you can't hit off Garuda, but it does help a lot for sure. Haste Enablers. I'm not sure what we need haste for. If Garuda clones to swing. Yeah, I guess, but I thought the point was just to Rick, you're next. I thought the point was just to shoot face. I mean, sneak attack makes sense for windmill slamming quickly. I guess it's just anger. Like, what I'm thinking of is we're doing a meme combo. If we are doing a meme combo, we want as few things as possible that detract from the meme combo. And so could anger instead be a copy of a card that is going to make sure the meme combo works? I mean, it'll be in the graveyard. Do we have enough? How many versions can we get that don't have to be sacrificed to the legend rule? So we have one Garuda clone that doesn't have to be sacrificed. Two Garuda clones is... Can I... Oh, so if we get Sakashima, we have 20 fucking clones, because it just breaks legend rule for us. We have a third individual instance, fourth individual instance. I don't think we have enough non-legendary Garuda clones that Anger is really going to pull this together, but it might. So let's, you know, I'll let you cook for now. We do have good damage multipliers. Yeah, Burning Room Demon could be okay. Dreadhound also okay. I'm gonna forgive your disgusting cheese wheel curve that I'm seeing, because I'm assuming that you're cheating all of this out with Garuda and you're not hard casting any of this. I don't think this guy's good enough. I'm also still not... I'm not sold on either of the Rakdoses that you have. Like, these seem... these look to me like things where you are not committing to the bit, and you have these as backups in case your bit fails. And I would rather have you commit fully... Like, commit fully to the bit or die trying. Yeah, Dread Return. All this reanimation is great. This is also a part where it depends on how high power your table is, because if there was ever a deck that I would be like, damn dog, you got to get some tutors in here, I would say this is a deck where, damn dog, you need some tutors. Because it's also wild slow. Check out this sick one-lander, Mom. This guy sucks, I think. So we play Command Tower. So we have 2 mana now. We play this guy to pretend that we're doing anything. We hang out. Discard to hand size. We've broken the game. We hang out. We're not cycling this. Okay, turn 8. We're 1 turn away. It's all gonna happen here, folks. I guess we'd get Bloodletter out just in case. So we'd shock this in. Be'lakor. We have 3 demons, so we lose 3, draw 3. We're gonna move Burning Rune to the graveyard, Clone to the graveyard, an Extinction Event to the graveyard. Oh, we don't need to move that last one. Next turn. And then we can play a land, spend 3 getting Garuda participating. So they're in our hand. Sneak attack Garuda. Okay, so Garuda trigger on the stack. 1, 2, 3, 4. Clone comes out. So we've done 6 damage, 12 damage. Oh, but we hit a second clone. That does suck. 1, 2, 3, 4. 18 damage. We sack this to the legend rule. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another clone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Phantasmal image, sack it, sack it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got there, sack it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we failed. That's our first failure. Oh, it's not legendary, so all of those stay out. That's crazy. So we would win. Because we still have 1 red mana to sneak attack, and we would have enough clones that we could use Dread Return to flash back either a trigger doubler or something, but that would win. The problem with it was we sat there with our dick in our hands for a bunch of turns. We're gonna pretend this is just like Blood Crypt or something. We'll put Garuda. No, we'll just do it on our next turn. So next turn we will boom. I don't think we want to play sneak attack. Yeah, we'll put Garuda to hand and we will discard Watery Grave. Boom. Boom. Sneak attack. So turn 6. Oh, shit. Okay. So turn 6, do we just win? Because we sack this to put it in. Do a red to sneak attack this out. Draw 1, lose 1. Do a red. Sneak attack Garuda out. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we immediately missed. But we can sneak attack the wall out. Sacks to the legend rule. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, fuck. And we hit 3 clones all in one. Impersonator goes in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we missed again. So now we're going to deluge, or we're going to cruise a bunch of shit out. One, two, three. I think we do stop here. I do think I legitimately had to use... like, even if we tapped perfectly, I do think I had to use 3 red pips because we did sneak attack on 3 things. I love that. That's pretty fucking funny. That's definitely, I would say it's silly because it's so fragile. And it's pretty fucking funny. I think the things that you should super change about it are some of these demons. It doesn't look like the Be'lakor ETB trigger being big is what's holding the deck together. What's holding the deck together is being able to get Garuda out fast, being able to get Be'lakor out fast, and making sure that this damage is getting big, either with Bloodletter, Roaming Throne. I still don't believe in Anger. It still didn't look like your board was getting so big as for it to be the best. So you can tell me if this is a correct estimation of how Oh shit. Noodle Daddy. Yeah, this makes sense so that you don't mill yourself out. And then Jace as a backup win condition. I think having the one backup win condition does make sense. If there was ever a deck that wanted to get some goddamn tutors, this is a deck that wanted to get some goddamn tutors. Like, I think that I think a lot of your demons that have good effects are not as good as I originally thought, because if they're proccing, it means that you missed with Garuda, and I think if you miss with Garuda, everybody at the table is taking out 18 cartoonishly sized hammers and pounding your skull in. And so you want more things that are going to make it unlikely that you miss with that make it unlikely that you miss with Garuda. Or no, you have enough recursion cheating to maybe make that work. Let's look at Chthonian Nightmare. When it ETBs, I don't think you have the mana to do this. Yeah, Benji, tutoring to the top of your deck. I think search your library, put on top. So Goblin card. So Cruel Tutor. I think Bruvac's too cooked. Like, I think anything oh, they have to be even CMC. I thought it was just non-land. No, it's only cards with even CMC. Holy fuck. So most of these are all out. Yeah, pretty much all of these are out. No, Grim Tutor's odd. Yeah, but Wilfred, Pitiless Plunderer, Phyrexian Altar, Ashnod's Deadeye is also like, I think not the meme, right? It departs from the meme. Okay, whatever. I do think what needs to be improved is probably ramp and probably, oh God, but your tutoring really doesn't do anything. I mean, like, Reclamation could... No, it's odd. We can't use it. Fuck. Yeah, Diabolic Tutor wouldn't be horrible. Diabolic Vision is also... I think there's potential here. Because you get to check 5 and take 1 out. So this is like early carded... This is it's either card advantage early... and I think you have a couple fetch lands to shuffle with if you don't like what's there. I think Diabolic Vision has potential as card advantage that is also a Garuda check. Wilfred, out of the loop, why does the deck need tutors? we're trying to make a very bad plan able to compete at high power, and that's generally when you want to bring tutors in, when you're trying to do something that isn't particularly strong. Yeah, Limdual's Vault for sure. B1C Pentameter. Limdual's Vault would definitely help you here, because you can... Yeah, for 1 life, you can just make sure that at least your first Garuda attempt is going to work. So I would look at those, and I would look at those instead of both of the Rakdoses and probably... probably Sower of Discord. Yeah, even Profane Tutor could work. I think that counts as even. But Bahamut, phenomenal deck. I hope it can get a little bit more consistent, because that is beautiful. Rick Dom, we're going to move on to Rick Dom, who has a spooky deck, which is... It is a group hug deck until it's not. Gaslight, Gatekeep, Girl Boss, that's not part of the primer. That emphasis is my own. Play as an innocent group hug to incentivize people to let your commander in for recursion value before blindsiding them with a hatred for instant commander damage death. Included is Hatred Recursion, with ways to recur at instant speed and an alternate win con in case they're wise to it. I tried to make land arts as spacey as possible to fit the 40k commander, but I couldn't do it with everything. In one word, the deck is bipolar. Is this an Among Us reference? It is $1,000. So whenever it deals combat damage, you can have them recur. This is not bipolar. This is just crazy person who ruins your life and blames it on being bipolar. Because first of all, this is not group hug. Or, you know, maybe the things in your deck, this has to be like that Azorius deck we looked at, where every creature in it was so fucking bad. Because what the strategy that this yells out to me is, I'm going to swing with Nayam and get them used to getting the recursion, so that they'll then let me swing in when I hit them with hatred. But like, this is already a bad deal. Letting me get something to field for you to get something for hand is already such a fucking bad deal. Okay, so nobody can punch me. Okay, Gate to the Aether is, oh my god. This is like, this gaslights just as effectively as Handsome Jack does in Borderlands, which is to say, I'm sure the 15-year-olds go for it. The immediate holdup that I have is that read Endless Whispers, When this creature is put into graveyard, choose an opponent. That player puts this creature card from that graveyard into play under... Oh my god, you can just redonate everything to everyone else. And we have Smothering Tithe and so sure. What I do love Endless Whispers. What is holding me up about this deck is that apart from Ghoulish Impetus, Parasitic Impetus, and Spectral Grasp, for your things to be in the graveyard, it seems like people need to be wise to your game already, because you do not have any self-mill, you do not have any looting, and that's not the easiest thing to do in Orzhov to begin with, but most of these are static pieces. And so for them to be dead, and so for Nayam to have any value, which I guess that actually does help you. If like the most realistic situation I can see of this deck working is me going, hey, just let me hit you and get some damage in, and you don't have to let me get anything back. But at that point, alright, we'll keep this. Let's see how it goes. So land, we draw for turn. Let's see. I can't read any of the fucking cards on. Yeah, we're gonna be this zoomed in. Okay, so we draw an extra card. Then we draw for turn. Boom. Probably... that and that. Draw more. I do not remember how much your commander costs, but I know that the goal is get to hatred. Yeah, I mean the... win rate is meaningless. Win rate is just off rip. I believe you that the deck has won multiple times. Winning a game of Commander has zero meaning outside of a CEDH tournament in terms of how effective I believe your deck to be. Because so much of Commander comes down to pure dumb luck, how aggressive your opponents are feeling towards each other, your ability to politic. Like, maybe you're just the best NASCAR driver in the world and you can win with a jalopy made out of shit. That does not make the shit jalopy a good card. Approach of the Second Sun is it's very good to have a backup. Howl from Beyond is a decent backup. I doubt you have the mana to really make that work. The really truly I don't know where the car key is. I think C has it. It's fine, yeah. Oh yeah, go check with them. See, Senior to Rub Fish, the thing about Second Sun is, like, if you're on, decks do need a plan to win the game. You can make a lot of treasures if people are on board. Oh, is that for... well, is that because you have Smothering Tithe, or because you have... Like if your table is never paying for smothering tithe, all of your data can be thrown out swiftly. Oh, tempting contract. If your table is letting... We need to study your pod in a lab, Rick. We need to study your pod in a fucking lab. My girlfriend plays with tempting contract. They got through one turn of all of us making a treasure token. They took one turn with it and everyone went, okay, we're never doing that again, right? We're never fucking doing that again. By and large, this is like, I've built a really, really bad deck, so everyone falls for the gotcha, which is an art into itself. Yeah, Rick, we gotta get these people to a CIA black site. So I can appreciate this deck more than a collection of 99 magic cards in its commander. I appreciate this deck as a snapshot of the meta you play against and their ability to read what cards do. I will give you, I would fall for the hatred thing at least once. The first time when you got me with the hatred thing, I would have been taking this deal 9 times out of 10. I would have been like, sure, take the deal. They don't even have permanents in graveyard. Who gives a fuck? I would have fallen for it at least one time. As soon as you've hatreded one person and you're like, I don't care what you tell them, but if they're like, oh yeah, Orza, the commander that gets stuff back from the grave, probably can't get this specific thing back. Don't worry about it, guys. It'll be fine. And then they get re-hatreded. That's just natural selection. Like that, you are handing out Darwin Awards with this fucking masterpiece. You do have just enough really, like, you do have enough, like, genuinely, this is group hug because it is firmly not advantageous to me to, like, trick them into it. See, but that's the thing, Rick, is if the basis of the deck is doing it, it can't actually be that bad. I know it's not what they're known for. I know it's not what they're known for. But if the group hug deck's out is commander damage, and they get hit with it once, and then they just firmly believe that you cannot do it again, that is like, can you imagine if you walked into the LGS and you fucking shot somebody and everyone started freaking out and you went, good people of Southwest Dakota or wherever you play Magic, don't worry, that was a magic bullet that I made with my mind and I can only make one a day. It won't happen anymore. We can play friendly now. And everybody calmed down, and you just went, hey, I am going to point this gun at you, but remember, the bullet's gone. What the fuck are we talking about? This is a testament to your personal gaslighting abilities. If this deck can continually like walk out to the table and people fall for it over and over and over, mad props to you as a deceitful person. That is like, this is not, a testament to deck building. It is a testament to piloting. Because this deck should not be able to. As soon as anybody reads the description of the card Hatred, this deck should be over. That, like, you should be getting carried out by... Nobody should like the cut of your jib. And so if people do, very good job to you, Rick Dom, the player. Horrible fucking job to this deck. Because holy hell. Like, really, I'm just trying to imagine in what world where you have such little removal are people over and over letting you get that, like, second and third. I mean, I realize you've said that you're convincing them that your shot is shot, and that's just, like, so wild to me. I can't... Yeah, like, I can just barely wrap my head around it, which is impressive for you, but holy fuck. We are going to move on from there to Evian Winters, who has a bunny deck. Bunny token deck. And then primer. Combo list. Iridescent Hornbeetle makes insects for each 1/1 counter. Lathiel distributes 1/1 counters for life you've gained. Hardened Scales and Doubling Season. Pollen Shield Hair makes all my tokens get an extra 1/1. Intangible Virtue. Oh god. Oh god, it's Selesnya Word Cloud. Okay, Kadira basically says double your tokens. What the fuck is Build a Pony doing here? I guess it's tokens. Okay. Tokens you control. Make my commander unblockable. One counters. That's okay. Basic land from hand to field. So this is like landfall re-up. On death, make a token. We are in mega budget territory, so we do have to work under the auspices of not paying very much money for the cards. I mean, Pollen Shield Hair definitely works with the whole bunnies thing. Make additional tokens. What the fuck is Surak and Goreclaw doing here? Basic land on death. Oh geez, we are working hard. Okay, return to the wilds. Make some tokens. Make some tokens. Put counters on. Put counters on. Make a food. Clowning around is funny. Still 2 mana, make 2 tokens. Congregate could help you. Goreclaw is a bunny, is the defense I'm currently hearing. Kind of. Kind of. Heroes Reunion has to go yesterday. Coward behavior. Coward behavior. You don't need to block. You need to be the problem. Why do we have 20 fucking Why do we have Manifold Key? Oh, can't be blocked. Okay, okay. I thought this was just Voltaic Key. Mana Lith, Mana Geode. The curve cannot be this chunky that we need all of these. Kite Sail. Reach is whatever. Cobbled Wings. Okay, we have goddamn 18 things that make this bitch unblockable. We have no removal, and we have no card draw. Oh boy, we got some work to do today. This, I mean, this was like... This is Celesia Word Cloud. This is almost like watching somebody... This is like watching a documentary series in the world of Fallout where they investigated a military bunker and they came back up with like half of a nuclear reactor and then also like half of an intercontinental missile and then like an old coffee pot and then some screws. And then, first and foremost, we have way too many fucking things that don't... I think we have too many things that try to give this thing flying and not enough things that either make it... Like, it already has trample. You're the green-white player. Just be the problem. You don't need to evade. You need them to have a reason to not block you. How expensive is... Yeah, Lambholt's under $1, so instantly champion of Lambholt. Because you're gonna be making creatures. Let's see, you desperately want to create tokens. You would prefer repeatable ways to make tokens. I'm gonna assume this is too expensive. Oh no, this is the wrong horn. It's Horn of, I think, Nope. Nope, it's Gondor. Not Gondor. Yeah, that one is probably going to be too expensive for them. But this is the type of shit we need where it's repeatable token creation. Because we're making 1/1s for all the tokens that we control. We do have, it looks like, almost half of the budget in this deck is in doubling season. But the problem with this deck is it immediately did it fell into the classic blunder of it was like, oh, I'm dealing combat damage. That means I need 1/1 token synergies, but I also need to make tokens. Like you took what should have been a sub-theme and made it the primary theme of the deck. Like, too many of your things are focused on putting 1/1 counters on, and not enough things are focused on putting tokens onto the battlefield and then making sure that she hits. Like, all of the... Like, half of these 1/1 counter synergies could be... just like a big enchantment, you know, could be... it already has trample, but you know, could be dumb shit like this where you just make Kadira really unattractive to block. Idol of Oblivion would be pretty good card draw. You definitely need card draw. Celesia as a whole always falls apart when it doesn't have card draw. This thing is 40 cents. you would probably want... I mean, as much as I fucking hate suggesting it, thank God it's too expensive. You can't play it. You can't play it. Glorious Sunrise would also be tremendous. Thank you for that suggestion, Jordan. This will either get you card draw if you have your commander. It will get you ramp if you don't have enough ramp. It will get you a board-wide buff if you do have enough creatures. Because, like, Ajani's Pridemate is just so... He's multiple degrees of disconnection from Kadira. Because it's Kadira wants to deal combat damage, therefore I'm going to have 1/1 counters. And Ajani's Pridemate does say put 1/1 counters on, but you need to gain life, which is only here because we have this like incidental food synergy, and we have better things to do that with. Felidar Retreat, that works. Felidar Retreat would be good. I would cut Manalith, Mana Geode, Pristine Talisman for... I would cut those three, just straight up lands. I would just cut those for lands, and then I would put Felidar Retreat in. Reborn... Let's look at Arasta for price. This would be phenomenal. It's not bunnies, but it is little critters. Oscar, the Warhammer sub count is Twitch only. Thank you for asking, my friend. But we are already not doing just bunnies because we have Surak and Goreclaw. Oh, this card would be phenomenal. Yeah. Because Kadira can just attack by herself. And then all of her bunnies would make her huge. Choco, I don't know what the cost limit is. I just know that we're trying to keep it in roughly the same budget that it already is. But, like, the Marasa Root Grazer is functionally useless because you do not have... Or, Marasa Root Grazer could stay in... for could stay in once we get like Felidar Retreat, but I think, let's see, how many things do you have to make food? 1. Holy shit, Oscar, thank you for gifting 50 memberships to the YouTube community. I am going to edit the Warhammer goal to reflect that. Thank you so much for that generosity. Holy fuck. That is so nice, man. Thank you. Welcome to Dog Heaven. Oscar is the current king of Dog Heaven, everybody. Starlight Spectacular. This is both Unfinity and is going to be like a fucking headache to resolve every time. But like Pests of Honor sucks. Benji, you misunderstand me. I'm not saying Starlight Spectacular is bad. I think that I think this leads to lethal more often than not. I think it just adds like 10 minutes of resolving Starlight Spectacular at the point where it's useful. I think you should probably abandon... Oh, managing it isn't that bad. Well, don't lie. I think that you should probably abandon these 1/1 counter synergies because they are giving your deck a personality crisis. You're spending like half your cards trying to buff 1/1 counters when half the cards in your deck don't do 1/1 counters. Half the cards in your deck do food tokens, 1/1 tokens, or or give things evasion. And so you have half the deck that doesn't talk to the other half of your deck. And you want your whole deck to be working together to give you something good to do with Caldera. So we'd probably boom, boom, fly. Landing this doesn't matter because we don't have any food yet. But next turn, we have a food. So then we'd make one bunny. And we can start with one bunny because it will, as long as we don't get board wiped, this will get exponential. The gruff triplets are in here. True, it is this person spent $50 on doubling season and wants to justify it. But yeah, God, it just, they're close, but they need, like, Penumbra Spider instantly replaced. Oh, Danny, you're here. Traded for it, didn't buy. Same deal. You got your hands on a doubling season, and it has justified a number of incredibly questionable decisions. I think travel preparations is like the, is same thing. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't work with your commander but is made to work with another card that is in the deck. And we want things that are going to work better with your commander. So I don't know if you saw the suggestions already made, but things like Arasta, which are going to get you more tokens to start with. What were the other? Angelic Exaltation is going to be a much better method for making your commander big. Felidar Retreat is going to be a much better way. Been here for that part. Cool. So in general, the rule I operate on is the cards in your deck either need to synergize with your commander or they need to synergize with 25 other cards in your 99. You don't have a lot of room for that because you have committed so many things to making Kadira unblockable, which does make sense because Kadira needs to hit to actually get through. I think a number of these... Let's see if this one is too... This is 50 cents, so this is very down low. This would be pretty good for your bunnies to get you one card a turn. Takesia's Welcome would also get... This one's pretty expensive though, so fuck that. Boss's Chauffeur would be a way better... Yeah, this would be... This would be fucking phenomenal. In terms of having like an actual payoff for putting 1/1 counters on things. Or at least much better than your other current payoffs. Because either it's a big thing that lets you beat people to death, or it dies and you get a bunch of tokens. But right now, this deck is absolutely suffering from word cloud syndrome. Like, Celesia is generally good at gaining life. It's generally good at putting 1/1 counters on things. It's generally good at making tokens. And you've tried to do all of those things all at once. Mentor of the Meek would also be good as a bunny trainer. For a lot of these, you don't need as many sources of an effect as you do a couple good sources of the effect and ways to draw into the effect. I don't think you need I don't think you need Aerial Extortionist, but I do think Mentor of the Meek is good. I think if you want to do 1/1 counter stuff, I would get more lands. And I would do Roaring Earth, and I would just use Landfall to build your board up. And then I would cut some of these. I would go up to like 38 to 40 lands and utilize additional landfall triggers. Because you do have some mana dumps like Vitu-Ghazi. Oh yeah, Bristly Bill too. Never mind, he's $20 fucking. Why the fuck is it? Well, that's why. Yeah, okay, he's fucked up. Sell it all for Earthcraft jank. This one's only good if the game is going really, really well for you. If the game is going anything but tremendous for you, it's also more card draw than damage. And if the game is going well for this deck, we need damage more than we need draw. But stuff like Cheeky House Mouse is good. Making non-creature tokens for Kadira to work off of is really smart because it prevents people from just blowing your back out with one board wipe. I think Dawn's Reflection is too expensive for a world where you don't care about enchantments. This guy's 50 cents. He's snake, so he's a like forest creature. But that would what I would you are suffering from word cloud disease, and we do have the necessary magics to heal you. And to heal you, it is, I would say, move away from just recenter it on your exactly what your commander does and cares about. There's no way there's only one Ajani. I've seen so many Ajanis. I've been hurt so many times by Ajani. Oh, it's because it's in the... I did text instead of name of the card. I'm not even going to look at Twitch chat because I know I'm going to get gooned for that. This guy's a little expensive, so fuck him. Or if you really want to do 1/1 counters and 1/1 counters convert to tokens, then I would include Ajani Planeswalkers, because those are the kings of I'm gonna do 1/1 counters. But off the rip, Strength of the Pride is probably the only super useful one for you. The removal package is non-existent. And I think for Selesnya token go wide, that can be okay. But we need to accelerate the deck. Because for Selesnya go wide to work while having no interaction, you just need to quickly and clearly designate yourself as the problem and nobody else. And so like here we have our commander, and what has So it's turn 4. But what has fucked us is, well, we'll do this. We'll make a night. We'll say for the sake of the deck testing, we got to hit through. Boom, bunny. Turn 5. We'll do white. We'll tap out to equip again. Boom. 2 bunny. And now the deck kind of just like dog walks itself back in. But the thing is, if you ever get from this position, if you get board wiped or if Kadira gets shot in the chest, as she does deserve to, you don't have anything to make a fresh token. Which means you either need, we have 3 ways in our hand to make Kadira big and unblockable, and no ways to benefit from her actually getting through if the tokens that currently exist get killed, which makes us very, very, very vulnerable. So I would de-incentivize no, because face reward is not going to work if our tokens get board wiped. So I would de-incentivize all of these ways to make sure she's hitting, and I would up your number of ways to I would up the number of ways to make sure that you have tokens to proc, and then I would try to get a little bit of card draw in. Okay, I'm looking at all of them, Troper. I'm looking at all the I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. But this is definitely like we sent someone down out into the Fallout wasteland, and they went to a military facility and they brought back plutonium and also a coffee pot, and they value those things equally. Oh, Rumor Gatherer would also be good. Rumor Gatherer would be a really good way to get some card draw. That is going to be it for today's stream. Thank you all for coming and for putting up with all of those technical difficulties. I'm going to be dropping the June sign-up link for deck roasting tonight, and so be sure to look out for that on my Patreon. Thank you all to everyone who has supported me. I hope you all enjoyed your roasts. I hope you're having a good weekend, and remember to stay toxic. We'll be back Monday with some draft gameplay.